You know what's wild? The more I look at this 2025 Chargers roster, the more it feels like this team is either going to completely flip the script or flatline. And it won't come down to the big names we already know. Justin Herbert is going to be Justin Herbert. We know what Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Rashawn Slater bring. That's not the question. The real question, the one that'll define this season, is all about everyone else. This roster is loaded with players who either just got here, are stepping into massive roles, or are banking on a breakout. And if even half of them deliver, this team could shock a lot of people. But if they don't, we might be in for another almost season. Let's break it all down. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Let's start with the obvious tone setter, Tuli Tuipulotu. Look, I've been talking about this since last season. You can't lose a player like Joey Bosa in terms of raw edge-setting talent and just pretend it's business as usual. But that's what this team is asking Tuli to do. He's entering year 3 now. And yeah, the pass rushing upside is there. That's never been the issue. He plays with violent hands and non-stop motor. You love it. But can he anchor against the run when it really matters? Because if you watched last year, especially games like Baltimore, Tampa, Arizona, Pittsburgh, he got eaten up on the edge in all 4. And those were games where the Chargers got bullied. That can't happen again. If Tuli doesn't figure it out fast, that edge opposite Khalil Mack becomes a liability. And this scheme under Jesse Minter isn't going to babysit him. He's got to be more than just flash. He's got to be consistent. Real pressure. Real containment. Not just splash plays. Now let's pivot to linebacker. And this is where I think we could see one of the biggest swings on this entire roster. Junior Colson. I was high on Coulson when they drafted him. And I'm still high now, even after a rocky rookie year. And yeah, I get it. Health issues. Slow ramp up. Didn't really flash like people expected. But that was then. This is now. He's healthy. He's back with the same defensive coordinator and head coach from college. And he's got Deion Henley next to him, who looked like a real piece last year. Coulson is sharp. He processes fast. You give him a green light in this system with Minter and Navarro Bowman mentoring him, man, this could be the kind of year where he goes from a question mark to a tone setter in the middle of that defense. But it has to happen now. If he doesn't take that leap, the Chargers are going to struggle with interior run fits again. And we've seen that movie way too many times. Next is Joe Alt. This one's interesting because he's a second-year rookie, but not just any rookie. He's the guy this team is betting the house on at right tackle. They've been trying to fix that position for, over a decade now? From Bulaga to Pipkins to that Zion experiment, it's been rough. And now they think they've got the answer in Alt. Honestly, I liked a lot of what I saw late last season. He wasn't Rashawn Slater good, and people need to stop expecting that, but his floor is already solid. And his ceiling? It's massive. If he can clean up some of the footwork and continue to build chemistry with Mekhi Becton on that right side, you suddenly have a wall over there. And that changes everything for both the pass and run game. And speaking of the run game, let's talk Omariyon Hampton. You want to talk about upside? This guy has the potential to completely redefine how the Chargers run football. And look, that bar is low. The Chargers' run game last year was a disaster. Inconsistent lanes, no rhythm, no juice. The numbers don't lie. First down run efficiency, bottom tier. Explosive run rate, laughable. But now you add Hampton, a guy with legit burst power and vision, and pair him with Najee Harris, who's not flashy but dependable. That's a real backfield duo. And more importantly, it's the kind of backfield Harbaugh and Greg Roman need for this offense to function. Now, it's time to discuss the secondary. Elijah Molden. I think a lot of fans overlook this guy, but the coaching staff definitely doesn't. Molden was a straight-up chess piece for Jesse Minter last year. Played everywhere. Free safety, box, nickel. And what that did was free up Derwin James to play downhill, closer to the action, where he belongs. Now Molden's back, healthy, and locked in long-term. And that's a big deal. He lets this defense disguise coverages, rotate pre-snap, and stay multiple without changing personnel. That's rare. If he continues playing like he did last season, this could be the best safety room the Chargers have had in years. And I'm not saying that lightly. And if I speak about wide receiver now, Trey Harris is the player you should keep an eye on. Harris might end up being the steal of the draft if he stays healthy. That's the big if with him. But when you watch the tape from Ole Miss before he went down, this guy was dominating, man zone, didn't matter. And that's exactly what the Chargers were missing last year. A true outside X receiver who could win one-on-one. Quentin Johnston? Nah, that's not his game. Josh Palmer? Too inconsistent. DJ Chark? Wasn't that guy either. Trey Harris steps in and gives Justin Herbert a real jump ball, contested catch option. You start stacking him with Mike Williams, Ladd McConkey, and Gadsden II, and suddenly this WR room has juice again. But again, this isn't a guarantee. It's a projection. He's got to stay healthy and prove he can handle press coverage at the NFL level. The Chargers haven't had a true seam-stretching tight end since maybe Hunter Henry. And even then, Henry didn't have Gadsden's size-speed combo. This kid's a mismatch problem. He's not going to block much. That'll be Tucker Fisk and Will Dissly's job. But in the red zone, in the middle of the field, this is where he can eat. And Justin Herbert, historically, loves throwing to that part of the field when he trusts his guy. If Gadsden can win that TE1 job out of camp, or even carve out a heavy usage role by midseason, this offense becomes way more dangerous. Let's shift back to the defense. Tarheeb still might be the most quietly impressive guy from last year's rookie class. He played inside, played outside, made plays on the ball, and showed real instincts. 4 picks as a rookie from a 5th rounder, that's big. And the mindset's there too. He's grinding with Khalil Mack in the offseason. He's competing with Cam Hart and giving him crap about INTs and durability. That's what you want from your young DBS. Internal competition, edge, confidence. If Still takes another step, and the secondary can stay healthy, you're suddenly looking at a defense that's no longer a liability in crunch time. And that's been the story for years with this team. Tier Tart, replacing Poona Ford is no small task. But when you dig into the numbers, Tart was sneaky productive last year in limited snaps. If he can double his workload and maintain the same level of disruption, the interior of this defensive line becomes way more stout. And that'll be huge against teams like the Chiefs and Ravens that thrive on creating chaos in the trenches. And finally, let's wrap it up with the guy who was the MVP of the offense last year, Ladd McConkey. Look, I don't care what your expectations were. No one expected Ladd to do that as a rookie. Over 1,100 yards, consistent production every single week, and he did it while being the only reliable target down the stretch. Teams knew where the ball was going, and they still couldn't stop him. Now, imagine Ladd in year 2. With Mike Williams back, Trey Harris on the outside, Gadsden in the seam, and a real run game to take pressure off. This guy isn't going anywhere, and anyone talking about a sophomore slump clearly didn't watch him play last year. He's legit, and this offense, assuming it stays healthy, is finally built to maximize his skill set. So, look, here's the big picture. This team isn't banking on its stars, it's banking on its gaps. The guys who haven't done it yet, or haven't done enough, the rookies, second-year players, and the new additions. And that's risky. That's a lot of pressure to put on unknowns, but that's also what makes this season so damn interesting. Because if these guys hit, this team could go from average to playoff threat overnight. If they don't, it's back to the drawing board. Again, we'll find out soon enough. Let me know in the comments, who's your X factor for this Chargers season? Which of these guys do you trust? And who are you still not sold on?